Hey, this is Pat, and today we're checking out the all-new Alpinestars Bogota Pro Drystar Jacket. Now, the Bogota Pro is going to be aimed at touring and adventure riders out there that are looking for four-season outing. I think Alpinestars did a great job at actually making it four seasons, so you're going to get a ton of ventilation, a thermal liner, waterproof liner, as well as some beefed-up materials, whether you're using it on the road or if you're riding to the trails and ripping around for a little bit before tailing back home. This is going to be Tech Air compatible. It's going to have a lot of features I want to speak towards, but I think the most important one to keep in mind is that four seasonality, just because, again, you have massive vents, which I'll show in a couple minutes, at the front, massive vents at the exhaust, at the back, and then some forearm vents as well, with that CE Level 2 armor and CE AA abrasion resistance. So this one definitely hits, in my opinion, above that $430 price point that it's coming in. I think this definitely punches well above its weight. But before we start talking about all the features, let's talk about the overall fit. I have Norman on my left. He is a very jealous 6'3", 220 pounds with a 44-inch chest, currently wearing this jacket in the size extra large. Now, if you look at Alpinestars' size chart, he's just at the cusp of being up into a 2 extra large. But as you can see, it does fit him spot on, and this is with all the liners in it, which is going to be probably, I'd say, the most rare occasion that you're actually wearing this. Most riders would be wearing it maybe with just the waterproof or with none of the liners in it, so it's going to be a little bit looser on him. But as you can see, it's a nice tight fit with all the liners in if you're riding through the winter, but it's still going to fit him and not be too big in those summer riding conditions. So if you're looking at that size chart, keep that in mind. I still put Norman more like in between two sizes of an extra large and a 2 extra large, and extra large always fits him spot on within Alpinestars' line. So keep that in mind. There are 6 different colors available, and it's also going to come in sizes small all the way up to 6 extra large. And I think that's probably the most notable thing for anybody out there that's on the bigger side. If you're looking for it, this might just be the right option for you. But let's talk about the features and work our way through. The main construction of this jacket is going to be a 600 denier with 450 denier ripstop polyester throughout. And again, I mentioned it does get that CE AA rating. So you do have that in those key abrasion zones. It's going to be something that if you do go down off-road, if you go down on the tarmac, which is going to be much more dangerous, you're going to have that abrasion resistance protection built in. Starting up at the collar, though, you do have an adjustable collar up at the top, so you can adjust it in and out, and then you can also snap it back if you want. I do like that. I'm the type of person that actually rides with it open, so I do like having that option there just to snap it open, get a little bit more ventilation through at the front. Working our way down to the shoulder. At the shoulder, you are getting the Nucleon Pro, CE Level 2 armor. You get that at the shoulder as well as the elbow with a pocket for chest and back if you want to include it. I do love the Nucleon armor, and I actually love the Pro a little bit more just because it is very soft for CE Level 2 armor, very malleable, and it's going to vent a lot of air through it. So you do get that at the shoulder as well as at the elbow with the pockets to add in front and back if you want, or to include the Tech Air system, which I'll talk about when we get on the inside of this jacket. You have a little bit of color design, snap adjuster up at the bicep, as well as a massive vent running down the inner sleeve here, so you can get some ventilation going through there, with an adjuster here, a Velcro adjuster at the forearm. And I'm just going to pivot here on the side. You do get accordion up at the elbow for a little bit more movement down there, and then you have a nice Velcro closure at the cuff. Looking up at the chest, you have a pretty standard YKK entry with the main zipper, a little bit of reflective pops up at the top, and like I said, when it comes to the ventilation, you get molly webbing over top of this with a snap, but you can also just tuck this away. You can adjust it if you just want it half open, or fully tuck it away if you want more ventilation going through. Obviously right now, as Norman is wearing it, that's going to the waterproof liner underneath of there, but you can get airflow through if you remove both those liners. That waterproof liner is an over-under system, so you can put it over top, take it off when it stops raining, and get a lot of airflow in there to cool off. Big old storage pockets down at the base, and they do expand out, so if you are stuffing gloves in there, anything else, a lot of storage on this jacket is one thing I will say, which really aims at that touring and ADV side. I like that they're adding that in there, just making it more comfortable for a long distance riding, even if you're hauling a bunch of stuff in the pockets. I mentioned that zipper down there. One peak down at the bottom, you're just going to notice a little bit of a tank protection. That zipper is not going to be clanking up against the tank the entire time you're riding. It does sit behind a double housing right there. If you can go ahead and turn to the side and just hit the riding position for me. At the side, you'll get a great glimpse of that accordion stretch at the back of the elbow. And one key part I want to point out is this stretch running down at the armpit and the shoulder blades. Really helps in the movement towards the controls of the bike. I've ridden this on the Tiger 900 that we have here in the office. Really just great movement down there, whether you're off-road and really getting and aggressive, or if you're just sitting in a comfortable touring position. You do have that in there, which also goes towards the expansion of the Tech Air system should you add that in there. This is compatible with any of the road systems, or you can wear the off-road version if you take all of the armor out. You really have the options there with the amount of stretch on here. Slide adjuster at the true hip. We can see we actually have that pinned in a little bit just for a more refined fit with Norman here. And then a nice drop, and you can see the direction of the tail is actually dropped to the back just to cover up everything while you're riding. You can turn to the back for me. At the back, I talked about ventilation being a key factor here, and it is no difference at the back. Again, you have the snaps if you want to customize it and open it only halfway, or you can just tuck it away and fold it, and you have a massive exhaust vent coming out of the back around with that stretch at each shoulder blade. So really, like I said, the four seasonality is where I'm impressed with Alpinestars at the $430 price point, just being able to pull all that hot air out if you're riding without the liners. And you also get a nice rabbit pouch in the back. If you take those liners out, you can go ahead and stuff them in back there, and that's going to be something you can use while you're touring around. You don't have to stuff it into luggage or anything like that. It'll always be easily accessible. Go ahead and spin around to the front and open up here. Let's get a picture of those inside liners in there. So I did mention it is a Drystar XF waterproof liner, which you can see Norman has here. It is finished. It does have little snaps at the front to snap into the interior liner, but you can actually wear this over top of the jacket. You can wear it around the campsite if you're setting up camp and it happens to start raining, or if it's colder, you do get that option in there. And I'm actually gonna go ahead and, sorry, Norman. I'm going to open up, and that's where you'll see the full sleeve thermal liner in there as well. It does just snap in, so not a destination for the thermal liner, but you can go ahead and snap this into the waterproof liner or snap it into the main construction if you're not using that waterproof. You do have the options there, 100 gram thermal at the front, 60 grams thermal at the sleeve, so a little bit lighter just because that's going to be getting a little bit more movement while you're riding, and you really want to make sure you're warming up the torso. And if you look at the inside, you do have a mesh liner with a connection housing, as well as a cinch cord around the waistline, some pockets, as well as a waterproof pocket. And you go ahead and zip that up, Norman. So there you have the Bogota Pro Drystar from Alpinestars. In my opinion, I mentioned this a few times, something that punches well above that $430 price point. And the key factor for me is the four seasonality. Usually jackets are either good in the summer, good in the winter. This is going to be solid all four seasons. If you're touring around the US, if you're going ADV riding and the weather is kind of up in the air, you have that option. You have CE AA abrasion, Tech Air compatibility, as well as Nucleon Pro CE2 armor, just really hitting well above the $430 price point, and something I'm definitely going to be adding to my ADV closet. If you have any other questions though, click that info button. You can read other rider reviews and see what other riders are saying about the Bogota Pro. And if you still have questions after that, if you have questions on sizing, reach out to our customer service team. They're all riders, happy to help you get set up for your next ride. I want to thank you for joining Norman and I and checking out the all new Alpinestars Bogota Pro Drystar Jacket. I'm Pat. I'll see you in the next video.